Welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. We have been learning about the different charts that are available in Microsoft Excel. Today, we will be learning about how to use one dimension or two dimension charts. Now, we have learned about how to insert charts, how to customize and make them templates, and even how to use recommended charts. But we are going to be focusing on very specific two types of chart today. One is a linear chart, and second is the scatter chart. So let's begin our session for the day. So we will start with charts from the data set of one dimension, and then we will go to charts from the data set of two dimension. Now, one dimension charts are always the linear charts, which are line charts. You see, there's only one line which is there, right? So there is just one axis, either x axis or y axis. How do we do? Let's understand that. So we'll go back and we will go back to the document. Now, this is the, so let's represent this. So let's copy paste this first. And instead of doing month here, let's do yearly. And let's do, we have this projections. You select this projections first, right? Go to insert and you will be able to see line chart, right? Now, I will be going to more line charts and I will just take the first one itself or the second one. For example, if I select this one, you see there's a one line. I'm going to increase this a bit so that you are able to see. There's only one line which is there, right? Even though I will be adding here my elements. So let's say I'll do an axis title. So this will be sales and this will be years. The idea of one dimension is that there's only one single line that we are projecting. You see how the line has traveled from 2010 to 2021, right? And you see these are the points that are there. All these are the points where the sales have increased, the sales point have dipped, again has increased. So you see that it's not a straight line, it's a curved line which shows in which year what kind of sales that has happened, even if it has dipped. And it, as you see, this is a much more average figures. This is not the real figures that you are seeing. If you click here though, you will be able to see the value. So you see these points, the circular, the square, four square dotted points. Yes, if you click onto this, you will be able to see what is the real value. But here you see it's an overall projection. That is, they have taken whole figures here. And this is the years that we want to showcase the projection in. Now you can see that here also is the same thing. And you see how it has dipped. The thing is, you can also make sure how the line you want to look like. So where the arrow you want to start, where the arrow you want to end, how the arrow size will be. You can change all of this and customize this as per your requirements. So formatting this as per your requirement is also important, right? The next you can do is obviously add some visual effects to the start. But because this is only plot series, you see, there's only one. There's no primary or secondary axis. There's only one axis which is here, which is either x or y axis. There is no two axes that you see. You don't see a double line here, right? You just see one dimension. So this is how the one dimension will look like. You see how it has, so it's always better if you, let's say, if you're projecting a single thing, to use a linear chart. For example, if you're projecting yearly sales, right, you just want to show the dips and all. If you're following certain trends, for example, stock market can be always shown in a more trending or a line chart, because you can actually see which stocks are trending, which is not. Specifically for a daily report or a weekly report, this sort of line charts always help. A linear chart is always helpful because, one, you do not have much data set to showcase on. The analysis that you are doing on a small data set, because it is much more weekly, you will be able to see the dips and the turns, and it's only one axis that you are showcasing, right? We are not showcasing two things here, we are just showcasing one thing here. So it is always better that you select only linear charts for this. Also, you can here change the colors, formatting as per your requirement. So this is also something that you can do, right? So this is what linear chart is all about. Next is the scatter chart. Here in the scatter chart, the data set comes in one dimension or in two dimensions. For example, here you will see x-axis and y-axis. So let's see how to do data set in two dimensions. We'll go back and let's say this is one, but let's say I want to insert a scatter chart. So here only in the insert chart section, you will be able to see scattered charts. Go, so I'm going to remove this chart and check on more scattered charts. As you can see that there is a lot of scattered charts with line also here, right? So I'm going to select this. Let me change the design a bit. So this is how the scatter chart. As you can see that there are dots and then there are lines. There was a single line, right? You did not see those dots. So here you can see the different axes as well. For example, the plot area, you can see that there are different axes. So there's an x-axis, y-axis. Obviously, you can also make sure that you have put the axis titles here, right? And you can see the trend line as well. You see the trend line? Now I've got different axes coming over, starting from here, and you see how there's another line that has been taken off from 2010 till 2020 22. And if you see here also, it's not very specifically year based. Like for example, the sales projection that we are showing here, the amount that we are showing here is on an overall figure. Here also you see that there is a 2 year gap, this 2008, 2010, 2012. So here what you can do is, when you insert the trend line here, you are able to see that there is one axis which is going, that is from 2010 there has been an increase, right? Because that's where I'm starting my projection from. And you see there's a steep increase that has happened, even though here we are seeing the actual, where we're seeing that there's a dip in 2014, again in 2000 uh you know 15. So you see this is how it's being shown here, right? And you can, if you click on the data labels, you will be able to see the numbers as well, like where is it happening, why is it happening, how much it has gone. So you see the actual figurines here as well. See, these are the actual figurines. This is the trend line, which shows that there has been a steep increase in the sales. And here you see the actual dip and the focus in the market, like what is the actual sales that has happened yearly, right? But as I was saying, you don't see year wise, you see a more on an overall year basis, right? So this is how you can use something like a uh, scatter chart for your projection. Now, like we said, linear chart is mainly for trends. Scatter chart is mainly, let's say you want to show year wise what is the projection, right? You can show chat also, like if you have two values, for example, this was one set of value and this was another set of value, you can show the values as well, right? And connect the dots there. For example, let's say I want to put two sets of numbers, value 1 and value, let me do 100. Here I will do, you see this value, that if you click on this and then put a scatter chart, let's say, you see how the scatter charts has increased, and then if you put a trend line here as well, you see this is the way that the scatter chart looks like. So there are points, and then there is, for example, if I do this, see, you see two lines are coming. So there's one is this line and second is the, you see those dotted line as well. So let me increase this a bit so that you will be able to see the dotted lines. You see this is the dotted lines and this is the main axis that shows how much it has increased. So when you have two values, here two sets of values, it is always better to use a scatter chart. When you have one set of value to project, then always use a linear chart. A linear chart is much more easier to showcase, specifically for a weekly analysis, for a monthly analysis. It's always better that you do a linear chart. Whereas when you are trying to show two sets of values together, it's always better to use the uh, scatter chart.